Hello everybody, how you doing today? This is Jason, the Dungeon Master for Totally Online Gaming Group, and I wanted to talk today about something that I just heard about, and just wanted to bring it up with people in the community and see what y'all thought about this. So, here if we can get this to show up. Give me a second here. Okay, hey, what's up, Zach Dice? So I am currently freezing my butt off in Minnesota, but I figured let's talk about some stuff while I'm up here. Specifically, this article right here, which is on a site called Kotaku.com. One of my friends mentioned this to me, and I said, I want to see what the heck they're talking about. And apparently, this was published on Monday, so earlier this week. The CEO for D&D, basically for Wizards of the Coast, which is owned by Hasbro. They think that D&D as a whole is under monetized compared to video games. So I wanted to talk to people and find out what the heck, people think about this, what you know about it, and that kind of stuff. Hopefully my screen and sound isn't too choppy or messed up, because right now I am visiting family using internet that is nowhere near as good as the internet I have at my house. And plus, we're dealing with some heavy snowstorms, so that might be interfering with it. And I'm using my crappy work laptop because I have no choice. So hopefully you're still able to hear me okay and get all the info. And I would love to hear your opinions on this under monetization compared to video games of Dungeons and Dragons in particular, because this is Wizards of the Coast we're talking about that's doing this. This is not something that other indie RPGs and other popular systems are currently doing, or at least that I've heard about, are talking about doing. But let's take a look at what they actually say. Okay, so right here, as it says, let me just hair down there so you can actually see everything. And in fact, I might just remove my my video here, or at least move it. Let's see if we can move this over to the other side where the words aren't. And just move this over here. Oh, not all of that stuff, you silly. Pardon me, my computer decides, okay. Again, crappy work laptop. This is what I got to deal with. Okay, so, alright, well, we're going to see here. We'll see if I can get this to finally work. Move these two things out of the way. Why does it keep grabbing that? You know what? I'm just going to have to deal with it. Okay. So anyway, if you can see this, what this article says is that basically the CEO of Wizards, so like here, CEO of Wizards of the Coast and its owner, Hasbro, okay, the companies are interested in finding ways to increase monetization strategies linked to, quote unquote, the world's greatest role-playing game. Now, everyone has their opinion on it. I like to think that D&D in its various iterations has and has not maybe had that title. It is one of my favorites, but really it just depends on what systems you're interested in. I've played several other systems and I like those as well, but especially in recent times with the the introduction of it in things like Stranger Things and stuff like that, and the popularity of Critical Role, and other things like that. Dungeons and Dragons itself has become very, very popular and almost synonymous with that style of gaming. So, I guess you could see world's greatest role-playing game, and all that. But here's the key part. Okay, and I'm going to highlight this. Hopefully you can see this. The companies are interested in finding ways to increase monetization strategies linked to the world's greatest role-playing game, similar to the kind we all know and love in video games. Microtransactions and subscriptions. Okay, I think that's a bit of a stretch personally. That we know and love. Okay, I don't know about you, but I do not love microtransactions. I am not a fan of microtransactions. Um, in fact, I would say that when it comes to gaming, games, excuse me, video games of any kind, that microtransactions have been a huge negative when it comes to enjoyment of a game. I like to get in and play a game, do fun things, and I'm not opposed to spending money for it and that kind of stuff. This person is out of touch. Exactly, Rune Weird Gaming. And excuse me for a second. Uh, yeah, we all love. That person is definitely out of touch. Whoever wrote that article, they're out of touch. I don't love microtransactions. I don't know anyone who does love microtransactions. Um, subscription models, and I understand. People gotta make their money, gotta, make it profitable on their end to continue to provide content. I mean, I get that. We're a content creation channel. Our goal is to go full time, and to do that, we have to make money. So we're going to do what we can. So you know, we do what we can to provide value, so that people that enjoy our content, enjoy the value we provide, will in turn, say, yeah, we'll give a few bucks here or there or whatever to help support, so that we can eventually go full time. But there's got to be an exchange. We get the value from D&D. From the base stuff. If they are looking to monetize more so than they already have, all of the core material, the base material, then that's a huge downside in my opinion. But even if they're looking to basically limit people's access behind paywalls, so to speak, of newer stuff coming out, that to me is not necessarily a valid step. That's not something I really agree with, and I don't think I'm supporting. I've got enough Dungeons and Dragons material. I've spent quite a bit of money on it, over the past. I am a dungeon master, so usually dungeon masters foot the bill on all these extra books. But yeah, I've done that, and I don't mind the subscription service. I use D&D Beyond. I love D&D Beyond. I pay them a subscription. Okay, I get the added features and benefits. I'm fine with that. What I don't want to see is how it has been so heavily implemented in role-playing game or in video games that some games are just unplayable unless you're willing to spend tons and tons of money repeatedly, over and over and over again. Uh, I just think it ruins it. It limits people's abilities to get into those kind of games and enjoy them at the same level of other people you know, who are getting in there and have lots of money to spend on it. What do you guys think? Yeah. Now, if they were to say that development companies love, yeah, exactly. Development companies love it. But what else? I mean, what else is going on here? And again, I apologize if the video is choppy. There's not much that I can do about that with the combination of crappy internet and well, not just crappy internet, but crappy laptop. So yeah, it's just kind of how it is, unfortunately. But we'll do what we can. But I do want to hear what your thoughts are on this. And while I'm waiting for more thoughts on, what do you think? Pros and cons of adding in more monetization on their end. Is there anything beneficial to that? Is there anything beneficial to the end customer if they add in more options for them to make more money? You know, what kinds of things could that do to the gaming industry as a whole, to lovers of tabletop games, who I think the main thing, in my opinion, that gets people into this is, hey, you know what? There's somebody I've got, who's got some money. They decided they're going to be a dungeon master. They put in $100 or whatever to get all the base books and stuff and all that. But they've already done that, and they say, hey, I want to run a game. And everyone else, well, what do we need? Well, technically all you need is some paper, a pencil, and some dice. And typically, enough people around say, yeah, I got extra dice. If you want to start out, you can get people into the game with low or no cost to them other than their time. And for a lot of people, I think that's a draw is, hey, I want to, I'd love to come and hang out with you guys. And, oh, by the way, we're going to play a game. We want you to be involved. We're going to all hang out, have some fun, maybe enjoy some food, some drinks, some laughs. But we're going to play a game, and we'd love to teach you and see if that's something you're interested in. And that has brought a lot of people into tabletop gaming. So I think that's good. And yeah, you're right, Zach Dice. They want to want D&D to make Magic the Gathering money. Now, I can't speak on Magic the Gathering as much. I am nowhere near as knowledgeable as you are, Zach Dice, on that. But I do know that they do. Paper is a dirty word. They do. From what I've heard, I don't know if it's true. I don't quote me on this, but I think one of the reasons why they're not happy is because Hasbro as a whole has lost a lot of money because they overprinted a whole bunch of Magic the Gathering cards and can't unload them all, and that costs them a lot of money, and they're looking for ways to make up the money in other places. Okay, so it's how it is. So they're kind of like, oh, let's try to make up the money over here with the tabletop gaming community. Okay, well, that's not necessarily the greatest thing, because the other thing too, now, again, I have to do a little more research on this myself, but I did look it up. Wizards of the Coast last quarter, according to what I looked up, and let's see if I can find it again, and we'll pull it up. Let's see what we can find here. Let's look up Wizard. If I can type. Come on, you. Wizards of the Coast. Last quarter revenue. Because what I saw, if I was looking at the right, I might not have been the right months, but let's see if we can pull this up. This is probably going to take a moment or two because slow computer, but let's see here. Okay, D&D Creator. This was October 18th, 2022. So Hasbro has released its 2022 third quarter financial results. Now, that was just on the Google page. Here's the actual article, which is on wargamer.com. It talks about it. It says D&D Creator Wizards Q3 revenue dropped $60 million on last year. So a financial report shows a $60 million decline in D&D and Magic. Notice that it's and Magic the Gathering Creator Wizards of the Coast earnings. So it's like both the D&D side of thing isn't necessarily the cause of it. From what I had heard earlier, it's actually an overprinting of Magic the Gathering cards. But I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. Do your own research. But their earnings compared to last year's quarterly revenue. Okay. Well, let's look at it. Wizards of the Coast Creator, blah, 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 brought in significantly less. Let's see. Make sure it's low enough so my face doesn't cover it. Brought in significantly less revenue in the third quarter of 2021. So this is for 2021. Okay, compared to the same period last year. Okay, Hasbro released. Okay, so Hasbro released its 2022 third quarter financial results on October 18th. They show a substantial loss. Okay, well here's their substantial loss. Okay, for quarter three. Yeah, wait. Okay, whereas the segment ranked. Come on, computer. Whereas the segment raked in 360.2 million in quarter 3 2021, its revenue was only 303.5 million for this quarter in 2022. Okay, which means profits. Okay, say similarly adjusted operating profits. So this is the actual profit. Okay, declined from 160 million to 102 million. I mean, you hear that? Profit. Okay, they still made over 100 million in profit this third quarter of 2022. Profit. That means expenses paid. It's still profit. You know, great. You're trying to grow your business and everything, but why ruin it with things that the community may not like? All right, let me go back to the comments here. I missed some of these. So, Runeweird Gaming says, this is what scares me. They have already said they are moving more to digital, so I could see all sorts of devious options. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. However, I will say I like digital tools. I like the digital tool sets that are available. I like some of the cool digital things. We use Tailspire in our D&D 5th edition live streams. Excuse me. We use Tailspire in those live streams, which is a great 3D map and minis program, build your own maps, etc. I like that digital kind of tool set. There's also RPG Stories, which is out there, which is great. I mean, there's lots of different digital tools you can use. D&D Beyond, I like the basics of it. When it comes to character sheets and keeping track of things, I like those digital tools. Okay? But I don't want that to be the end-all be-all. Okay? Yeah, paper is a dirty word. Yeah. They do not want people to just buy the 3 core books anymore. Sure, of course they don't. They keep expanding the product lines to get more sales. Yeah, there are more and more books. There are more and more splat books and things like that, if you're familiar with that term. I grew up playing, AD&D and then eventually 3.0, 3.5, that kind of stuff. And I will say I love 3.5. 3.5 is fun. I played that for years. I'm still playing it with some friends where I'm a player in a game. But one thing I think that kind of, I won't say ruined it, but in a way took away some of the enjoyment, in my opinion, was there are so many extra books for 3.5. So much extra stuff that you could get that, especially as a DM, if you're not looking at that stuff and going, well, we're going to have to limit it, to how, what books we're using. You can break the game so easily because there's so many things and people are creative and they come up with these weird combinations for, I'm going to take this, spell out of book number 325 and I'm going to combine that with this character that I've got, that I've built his race from this book here, class from this book here, a subclass here, a prestige class here, a feat that I've taken from this book. I'm going to combine all these things, and now all of a sudden, oh, hey, a fight occurs. All right, my character instantly has a 29 on initiative without even rolling, and since I go first, yes, the enemy are wiped out. Turn 1. What? Shit like that can happen. It's crazy. And it makes it hard for Dungeon Master to make challenges for the players. But you're always going to get players that are going to want to min-max like that. Um, so yeah, and sales have gone way down. Way down. Oh no, they only made 100 million in profit. The normies are moving on to different pastimes, just like they did in the mid 80s. Yeah. Uh, well, yeah. I mean, I love D&D. I love tabletop gaming. I love playing board games, card, all sorts of that stuff. Video games. I love that kind of stuff. That doesn't mean I don't do other things. Okay, and other people also do other things and sometimes dabble in gaming a little bit more. It just depends on what they're into. But at the same time, I've seen plenty of people get into gaming. It's just most of the time they're getting in as players, and as a player, honestly, the investment isn't that huge if you've got a DM that has the tools, has the books, has the resources that you can use when you're playing the game. You don't need to have all of that yourself. Okay? Like I said, you can get in with, hey, very little or no investment as a player. So there can be lots of players that get into it. Okay, where they're buying, where they're spending their money on the hobby, even if they're not getting into it a ton, but they're getting into it a little bit, is not usually things like the books or the resources like that Wizards of the Coast provides. They may not say, hey, you know what, I don't want to get a subscription on D&D Beyond. I just want to use the free account. Great. Or I just want to use that naughty word, paper. Find a character sheet online, print it out, and just fill it out. Okay. Jen, I'm looking at you with using paper, nothing wrong with that. So their resources, their money that they're going to spend, a lot of times, where does it end up? Dice, miniatures, dice bags, dice trays, cool little things like that. Okay, stuff more personal to them. Okay, whereas the resources, the stuff that Wizards has, that's primarily what they're selling you is the resources and some digital tools. Those things, not everyone has to have them, and you don't have to have honestly anything more than the core books. Okay. Yeah. Rune Weird Gaming says, I DM online exclusively because my players are all in different cities. Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, yeah. Well, in second ed, D&D was bad for that too at the end of it. It's true, it was. I had already kind of transitioned to 3.5 by that time. But yeah, it was. Um, but it's one of those things that I think most of the hobby is going to be, uh, as far as resources go, is going to be people buying dice bags, things like that. Whereas DMs are going to be the ones, as usual, spending money on resources with the occasional players that are interested in getting a resource here or there, an extra book, that kind of stuff. But it's primarily going to be people who are running games. And to kind of speak to what you said there, you DM online exclusively. I do not. We run an actual play live stream on the channel. Two of them actually. One where I run the game, another one where our friend Andrew runs it. But we all do that in person in a studio, and then we live stream that out for all of you guys. But my very first campaign on this channel, the Blackest Art campaign, all of my players, we lived in different states. And so we were all online. None of us were in person. And that's just how it was. And then, that's just how things go. But now, even with all the digital tool sets and the availability of those things, playing online, you can still have those real assets of physical dice. And I still like to roll physical dice, even when I'm online. We use the digital tools when we're in person. We've got Tailspire, that we use in person. We have that available so people on stream can see what's going on, but we're also using it in person in our studio so that the players can see the map and all that and see what's going on. We're still using that kind of stuff, but we're still rolling physical dice. It's one of those things. So I don't know. What's the solution? That's awesome. I miss in person. Yeah. Well, that's what we try to do. I'm a big fan of in-person gaming, and using digital tool sets while in-person gaming. There's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. You can use all these digital assets, but it's why does Wizards feel the need to try to monetize everything? Okay, you're already making money. We just saw in that last one, the revenue for quarter three. Oh no, it was down about almost $60 million, and their actual profits were down almost $60 million, but they still made $100 million in quarter three of profit. 100 million of profit in one quarter. That's still plenty, at least in my opinion. Heck, give me that, 100 million over, 10 years. I'd be happy with that. Shit, I'd be happy with 100 million over 100 years. A million a year, shit. In profit? Yeah, I'll take it. But all this, so they even said, as reported by Dicebreaker, Hasbro CEO Chris Cox and Wizards of the Coast CEO Cynthia Williams are looking to grow the future of Dungeons and Dragons through the type of recurrent spending you see in digital games. Okay? They want microtransactions. They want constant spending by us, the players, the DMs, the customers. They want constant spending. I honestly think right now they have a decent model. Have a subscription service for D&D Beyond. The DMs use it. They get access to plenty of tools. You're making money off of it. I have no problem with that. I'll pay that money every month. Okay. And then if the players want to invest money, they will. Okay. If they want to get extra benefits or some of the digital dice and stuff that they're offering on there, fine, let them. But trying to come up with more and more things that, oh, you want to do this? Nope, you gotta spend more money. You want to do this? You gotta spend more money. I don't like that. And like RuneWare Gaming, because of what we just said, the players don't have to invest much. Most of their money is on the backs of DMs. They want to figure out how to make the players spend money. Now, I want to hear what you guys think, good and bad, of this. Okay? There are, in my opinion, there are some good aspects to having, um, services or things that are above and beyond what's needed that you could monetize. For example, we have a website that is up called Lair D&D. Lair D&D. Think of Airbnb, except instead of searching for a rental place that you want to go on vacation and stay in a place and rent, you can look for a professional dungeon master. Someone that you want to hire to run games. Okay. Now, is that causing people to spend money to get into the game? No, it's not forcing them. Okay. It's providing an option for those that wish to spend money to get a DM that's going to provide them with a good experience and good service, and being able to do that pretty much anywhere they want. Hey, yeah, I'm a nerd. If I ever get married again and go have a fun bachelor party, well, I'm fortunate. I know plenty of DMs. We wouldn't need to hire one. But what if we all wanted to play? Heck, what if we said, hey, we want to travel to the beach somewhere and find a professional dungeon master that's going to come to the Airbnb that we've rented and run games for us for like an entire weekend or whatever. Okay. We could have that option. Okay. But this also then, provides a service, and I think Wizards of the Coast is trying to provide a service, but the problem is I don't think they're stretching to find things just to increase revenue instead of seeing things that are definite. The customers want this, the customers need this. How can we do this for them? And then if it does incur a cost that they would need to recoup, using, saying, hey, it's that kind of thing. Yeah, let's start selling skins and stuff for miniatures. Okay. Love paper, love all the real stuff. I agree. Which is another reason why I like in person. And that's, again, that's what Lair D&D is about too, is about meeting up for in-person games. Now, we may end up adding in ways to set up online stuff, but I really want to promote in-person games, making that human connection, playing in person. Okay, bringing your own paper. If you want to use D&D Beyond on a tablet, fine, but bringing your own paper, bringing your own physical dice, rolling those. That's what I want to see happen. Get people together more. But yeah, anyway, I keep veering on and off topic. Sorry about that, but it's just stuff like that. They want the type of recurrent spending you see in digital games, highlighting the fact that dungeon masters or game masters, uh, players who run the game, blah, 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 spend the most on the hobby through rule books and digital services. Williams, that's Cynthia Williams, the CEO for Wizards of the Coast, bemoaned the fact that players, those who only play individual characters, just aren't spending enough to play in the company's fantasy world. She described D&D's current state as undermonetized. Okay, I think she's in a fantasy world. Honestly, I don't... To me, I could be completely wrong. I'm judging based off just what I'm reading there. To me, this Cynthia Williams doesn't seem like she is a gamer herself. She seems like she is a businesswoman. She cares about the business, period. The revenue, making money, etc. And I can understand that, being a business person myself with our channel. We want to make money so we can go full time. But, there's also the aspect of loving the game, loving, what you're doing. To me, by making a statement like that, it doesn't sound to me like she actually loves the area that she's in, this, tabletop gaming space, role-playing games. She doesn't love it. She just is doing business, period. That's what it sounds like to me. So if that's the case, I don't think she gets the community. She doesn't understand how us, as players and game masters, feel about it. Okay. Yeah, and rewind. Yeah, obviously enjoying your digital tools. I agree. I love my digital tools. Okay, so it's just one of those things that digital tools can be great. I like to roll real dice. Doesn't mean I haven't used digital dice in the past. Things like that. I use the digital tools I use, but that in-person connection. And I think with the way technology is, more and more where you can, via Discord or Zoom or however live feed video to each other, you can get that connection a lot more nowadays than you could in the past. But I still think there's something special around all sitting around the same table together, being able to, reach out and high five, people around you when something really cool happens. Being able to roll your dice and everyone can sit there and watch these real dice roll in your dice tray or on the table and just zone in and watch that number as it rolls inevitably to a natural one because, I've weighted your dice because I'm the DM and you're going to lose. No, I'm just joking. But no, it's just something I don't like seeing a company take something that myself and others love and turning it into just a profit machine. Because that's inevitably when you get those kinds of things, breaking it down and making it no fun for anyone, reducing it. Now, my personal opinion, I honestly hope that there is a lot of backlash from the community. I hope that some people watch this live stream. If you're not watching right now, no worries. After this, I am going to put it up or leave it up on the channel, available for everyone to watch. And we would love any of your comments or thoughts on this whole topic down below the video after we put this up. So please feel free to comment and tell us your opinion. Those in the gaming community, we want our voices heard. So please, let's make it heard. Put down in the comments, give a like to this video. Yes, I know, shameless promotion of ourselves, but please do that. Make this live stream as a video go viral so that hopefully Wizards of the Coast and other companies like them that are producing the content that we love and want to be a part of don't ruin it for us. Okay? We're the ones spending money. Don't ruin it for us by trying to suck every last drop out of all of it. You're making a profit, a nice profit. Be happy with that. Be happy with the community that you are bringing together. You will grow over time. It will continue to grow. You're coming out with D&D, or one D&D next. Okay? That new edition. I've looked at some of it. Some of it looks interesting. Some of that. Who knows? Maybe we'll transition into that. And guess what? If that's the case, there will be new rule books. You'll still make money. Okay? You'll still be bringing people in. You'll still have the subscription service. And if you don't force us out of the space, out of something we love, then we're going to keep promoting that thing we love and get more people into it. I'm going to keep promoting getting other people to be dungeon masters. And guess what? When they decide to finally transition from a player to a dungeon master, they're probably going to end up with their own subscriptions, paid subscription to D&D Beyond or whatever digital tool sets that they want, as well as their own copies of the books. I right now own almost all of the digital copies on D&D Beyond because I want those resources to be available for my players. Okay? And I'm willing to bet what's going to happen is that whole content sharing that I'm doing with my subscription. They allow so much content sharing. I would not be surprised if they start cutting that off to force players to buy more of the books. Which right there, you're going to piss off a lot of your fan base. Okay? So please, let's have our voices heard. Okay? Let's get our voices heard. Let's let Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro and the other companies hear us. Comment on this video. What do you think of this whole situation? Like, subscribe, help us out, share this video out, help it to go more viral so that they can hear us and hear our complaints about what we think their thoughts on trying to suck all the fun out of things by making every last transaction monetized is going to do to their profit margins. All right, well, let's. I'm going to look at the last couple chats that came in just to see. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, they don't really play it. They only see the end goals of increasing profits. Oh, yeah. There's definitely been a lot. So, yeah. I think this is where I'm going to end things for today. Again, sorry about the choppy video. My current digital tool sets are not the nice ones I have at home. So that's why we get a little bit of choppy video. But hopefully you've seen by this article, and again, you can read this article for yourself. It is on Kotaku.com. It says, / Dungeons and Dragons D&D 5th edition 1 D&D, and honestly, I just typed in Wizards of the Coast microtransactions into Google, and this was the article, the first article that came up. I also typed in over here and got to Wargamer, Wizards of the Coast quarterly revenue. And I got this article from Wargamer that this article was published a month ago. Okay, so if you want to, read these things for yourself and see what they're talking about for yourself and what we've been talking about in this stream, there you go. Find those articles, take a look for yourself, read through them, and please, by all means, let them hear your voice. Okay, and one way you can do that, we'd love for you to do that, is comment on this live stream, especially when it goes to a video. Comment, like, subscribe, anything like that, just to increase this video so that it gets out there and gets seen that the gaming community is indeed discussing what Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast are thinking of doing. And I'm willing to bet that the majority share my opinion that not a great idea, guys. Don't suck everything out, all the money out of every little crevice that you can, because you're just going to ruin it. Anyway, I think that's it for today. So, I'll talk to you guys later. Before I go, just to let you know, we are having our next session of Out of Our Ascension this Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on both the Twitch and the YouTube channels. So we'd love for you to come and check it out. That'll be episode 27, and it is the big boss fight coming up that the players have been kind of leading up to for quite a while, for several episodes now. So come check that out. While we have little Maxie, the dog, barking in the background. And I think this next Monday is going to also be our next Magnus Avum session. Dominus will finally be back because I'll finally be back home. So come watch that, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday night, on both our Twitch and our YouTube. And if you like what we're doing here, if you're watching on Twitch, we'd love a follow. If you're watching on YouTube, we'd love a subscription. Costs you nothing. And please throw in a like, comment below, make this video go up there so the Wizards of the Coast can see we're watching you.